In the steaming jungles of Mexico's Gulf Coast, where mist clings to the trees and rivers twist through endless green, the first great civilization of the Americas was born, the Olmec. This land, rich and treacherous, was both cradle and challenge, a humid labyrinth of swamps and fertile floodplains where early villages grew into centers of power. From this earth they raised colossal faces, kings immortalized in basalt, each 10 feet high, staring across time with silent command. These weren't gods, but rulers, men whose power could summon thousands to drag mountains of stone through jungle without wheels or beasts. At San Lorenzo and La Venta, the Olmec built sacred landscapes, vast earthen platforms, pyramids aligned to the heavens, where priests spoke to gods through ritual. From coast to highland, their trade routes spread jade, obsidian, and the sacred rubber that gave them their name, the Rubber People. They gave Mesoamerica its first gods, the jaguar spirit, the feathered serpent, the maize lord, and the first glimpse of written signs and sacred calendars. But around 400 BCE, their world began to unravel. Cities fell silent, monuments defaced, and jungle reclaimed the temples of kings. Scholars see echoes of drought, volcanic ash, and rivers choked with silt. Nature and politics conspiring to end the first empire of the Americas. Yet, even in ruin, the Olmec planted the seed of all that followed. The calendars, the gods, the kings, the living blueprint of Mesoamerican civilization. As the Olmec world faded into silence, a new power rose among the mountains of Oaxaca, a people the ancients called the Cloud People, Zapotec. Upon a 1,300-foot mountaintop, they carved their capital from stone, Monte Alban, a city built where no city should stand. They built not in fertile valleys, but on a mountain, a deliberate act of unity, forging peace among rival tribes through stone and vision. From the mountain summit, the Zapotecs ruled the valleys, their plazas and pyramids carved in perfect alignment with the sun and stars. Their monuments spoke the language of conquest, carved stones listing captured cities, and walls engraved with the broken bodies of their enemies. Here, for the first time, words were carved in stone. The Zapotecs became scribes of power, recording names, dates, and victories in their own script. Monte Alban grew into a metropolis of 25,000 souls, terraces, palaces, temples, and observatories rising above the clouds. Inside the temples, priests watched the stars, their calendars guiding both harvest and empire. Time itself became a divine command. For nearly 1,000 years, Monte Alban stood proud above the clouds, until the winds of time turned, and the mountain citadel fell silent. Yet from the ruins of Monte Alban, the idea of empire endured. To the north, a city of gods was already rising, Teotihuacan. In the heart of the Valley of Mexico, a new power rose, vast, ordered, and awe-inspiring. The city the Aztecs would one day call Teotihuacan, the place where gods were born. Teotihuacan was unlike anything the Americas had seen. A planned city of pyramids, plazas, and avenues stretching to the horizon. At its center rose the Pyramid of the Sun, a man-made mountain, a monument connecting earth to sky. At dawn, priests offered incense and prayers to guide the sun on its daily journey across the heavens. But beneath the city's beauty was power and sacrifice. At the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, warriors were buried to sanctify stone and empire. Teotihuacan's influence reached far. Its architecture, its gods, and its warriors appeared in distant lands, even among the Maya. The city was a cosmopolitan center. Obsidian workshops, pottery guilds, traders from across Mesoamerica walking its vast avenues. Then, around 550 CE, something broke. Fire swept the ceremonial heart. Temples were smashed. Power collapsed from within. The city emptied. Streets that once echoed with thousands fell silent. Its pyramids left to wind and sand. Yet its memory endured. To the Aztecs, Teotihuacan was not ruins. It was the birthplace of the gods themselves. And soon, another empire would rise. Far to the south, deep in the rainforests of Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan, another civilization rose, mysterious, mathematical, and eternal. The Maya. Here, cities did not conquer the land, they grew with it. Stone temples rose like mountains from the jungle floor. The Maya built city-states, Palenque, Tikal, Copan, Calakmul, each ruled by divine kings who claimed descent from gods. These kings were not merely rulers. They were mediators between earth and sky, blood and cosmos. The Maya mastered time itself. They charted the heavens, predicted eclipses, and measured cycles of the sun and moon with stunning accuracy. But knowledge came at a cost. Ritual bloodletting offered life force to the gods, a sacred exchange of power and order. Despite the rituals, Maya life was vibrant. Markets, festivals, ball games, art, and music filled their cities with color and sound. Their sacred ball courts echoed with the thud of rubber and the roar of spectators. A game of honor, myth, and cosmic meaning. But by 900 CE, something shifted. Cities grew quiet. Palaces emptied. The jungle reclaimed what stone had dared to challenge. The Maya never vanished. Their descendants still live, speak their languages, and honor the old gods. But the age of jungle kings was over. After the great Maya cities fell silent, a new power emerged on the high plains of central Mexico, a warrior elite known as the Toltecs. Their capital, Tula, rose with terraces, palaces, and pyramid platforms, a city carved from stone and memory. At its summit stood the Atlantean warriors, colossal stone guardians, silent and eternal. Yet the Toltecs were remembered not only as warriors, but as artists, masters of turquoise mosaics, obsidian blades, and sacred story. Central to their story was a priest king, Tepiltzin Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, bringer of knowledge and peace. But power breeds envy. His rivals stirred conflict, turning the city against its own priest of peace. Quetzalcoatl left Tula in sorrow, journeying east toward the rising sun, promising one day to return. Legend says he reached the sea, built a raft of serpents, and sailed into the sunrise, a god returning home. But his story did not end. The memory of the feathered serpent spread to Maya cities, to merchants, and to the valley of the future Aztecs. And one day, in the valley of Mexico, a new people would rise, claiming Quetzalcoatl as their rightful god and guide. From the north came wanderers, the Mexica, a people hardened by journey and prophecy, searching for the land promised by their god. Their journey led them into the Valley of Mexico, a world of lakes, mountains, and ancient cities. There, upon a marshy island, they saw their sign, an eagle perched on cactus, devouring a serpent. A vision of empire. On that sacred island, they built Tenochtitlan, a city of canals, temples, and shining white plaster, rising from the water like a dream. In time, Tenochtitlan became the jewel of Mesoamerica, a city of floating gardens, bustling markets, and temples that scraped the sky. Its markets overflowed with gold, jade, cacao, feathers, obsidian, wealth drawn from every corner of the empire. At the heart of the city rose the Templo Mayor, towering twin pyramids dedicated to the sun and the storm. Through conquest, alliance, and tribute, the Aztecs forged an empire, demanding loyalty, labor, and offerings to honor the gods who sustained the sun. But great power demands great sacrifice, and the Aztecs believed the sun itself needed blood to rise. And beyond the eastern horizon, ships were coming, wooden mountains with wings of white. In the early 16th century, distant worlds were drifting toward one another, one shaped by maize and jade, the other by iron and gunpowder. When Spanish ships anchored along the Gulf Coast, the Mexica did not meet strangers. They believed prophecy was unfolding. Cortez and his men were brought to Tenochtitlan, a city so vast, so clean, so magnificent that Spanish chroniclers compared it to Venice and Rome. Emperor Moctezuma received Cortez with ceremony and grace. two leaders from distant worlds meeting with caution and formality. But behind courtesy lay fear, each side uncertain of the other's power, intentions, and gods. For the Spaniards, gold was not sacred, it was wealth. And in Tenochtitlan, they saw more gold than they had ever imagined. Tensions rose, misunderstandings deepened. A fragile peace strained beneath the weight of mistrust. Then came disease, smallpox, a sickness unknown in the Americas, spreading faster than swords or armies. The empire weakened. The Spaniards found allies among rival city-states, enemies long subdued by Aztec tribute. The great city would soon face siege, its canals blocked, its causeways broken, its people fighting not only an enemy, but fate itself. In 1521, war returned to the Valley of Mexico. Cortés marched again, not alone, but with thousands of native allies who had suffered under Aztec tribute. To reach Tenochtitlan, the Spaniards built brigantine ships and reassembled Olmec, turning water into a battlefield. The Mexica defended their capital fiercely, controlling canals, causeways, and every passage into their island city. The siege began. Causeways were cut, aqueducts destroyed. Food and fresh water grew scarce inside the city. Battles were fought not in open fields, but in narrow canals and rooftops. Every street became a front line. Inside Tenochtitlan, famine spread. Disease continued its silent march. The city, once vibrant and overflowing with life, grew quiet. After 80 days of siege, the Mexica resistance collapsed. The last emperor, Cuauhtémoc, was captured as he tried to escape across the lake. Here, Tenochtitlan fell. Its temples burned, its canals filled with rubble. The world of the Mexica ended, and a new world began. Yet memory did not die. The language, the prayers, the songs, the families they endured. The people survived. What fell was not a people, but an era. The civilizations of Mesoamerica shaped art, science, architecture, astronomy, and identity for millennia. Their legacy lives on. The stones may crumble, the cities may fall, but the memory of a people lives on in those who remember. Their stories continue in us.